Good on set. All right, we're rolling. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Five Guys podcast. We are here with
Juan, Rob,
John.
Wait, Juan.
Oh, man.
Oh, we got you. And Hav. Wait, that's your middle name?
Oh, in Spanish. Juan? John.
Oh, wait, what? I didn't know that.
Juanito. Yeah. Right.
Hit us, me, Juanito.
Are we gonna keep this as our intro?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
We're rolling.
Anyways, we're rolling live.
We're rolling. Okay, so we're gonna keep that as our intro. We tried to shoot our intro like 5 times already. So
5 guys, 5 times.
5 guys, 5 times.
Yeah.
We already introduced everybody.
We also have Juan. He's our new off-camera guy.
Yeah. He'll come into the picture later on in that episode.
Undocumented.
This is gonna be an interesting one. But on a serious note, we just want to say thank you to all of our audience members. We had a couple videos go, I guess.
Viral.
Sorry.
Viral.
No, we got 45K on Instagram Reels, I think, right now. TikTok, we got 45K. Instagram, we're pushing 27K. And the shorts didn't take off as much, but shorts have been taken off before Instagram and TikTok.
Definitely. So we just want to say thank you. It's not only a conversation between us, it's a conversation for everybody, and you guys are engaging with the content, so we really appreciate that, and we want to keep that going. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Do you want to kind of backtrack and like jump to where we last started?
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, we post everything on Spotify and or YouTube. Also, please bear with us if our audio is a little out of tune here and there. If some of our voices get a little bit louder than others or lower than others, we're still trying to fix the...
Work out the kinks.
Yeah, there we go. So we're still trying to get better at that. So please forgive us on that. Nobody's teaching us how to do this. We're just doing something that we believe in. We're just rolling with the punches, you know? But all feedback is always welcome because people grow off feedback. So what I was saying, for anybody who doesn't know, right now we're posting on YouTube and Spotify. That's our long format stuff. Like our whole, if it's an hour and a half podcast, that's where it's going to be, YouTube and Spotify. But we do a lot of engagements in our shorts. We post on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikToks. Recently, there's been a lot of traction on my conversation about, does the Catholic Church contradict
The Bible?
The Bible in the sense of, what was it? I'm zoning out right now so hard. What we do with the Bible right now? Not to say the same prayer over and over. It's getting a lot of traction now. We appreciate anybody who engaged. My boy Frankie, I appreciate you. I saw that you were one of the few. Augusto, you also partook in a different reel that didn't get as much traction, but still, it's a thought that counts. And we appreciate you speaking from your heart, truly. With everything being said, we genuinely appreciate you guys. There was a lot of traction there. There was a lot of back and forths is what we'll call it between people. We do ask is that there was a comment that really stuck out to me. It said, hey, why don't you just ask a priest or a pastor or whoever it is for these answers? I know I can 100% do that, but the point is sometimes people learn differently. I may not learn the same way that Hob might learn, the same way as John might learn. Or sometimes I might learn through somebody else's point of view. And that actually happened with these reels. And that's why I kind of wanted to make a conversation out of it, is the video did answer my question that I had, just to be a little bit vulnerable right now. When I used to pray, I used to just say the same prayers over and over. I used to pray for the same thing over and over. It would be like, oh, God, please provide me a fruitful life. I would say that almost on an every other day basis or a daily basis. Now, when I praying that, I was praying it from a place of repetitiveness. I know I meant it in my heart the first time I spoke it because I believe that he can 100% fulfill my prayers. But I would say it every day in a repetitive manner of babbling on and on and on. So from the comments, I was actually able to get my answer. And yeah, maybe I didn't go to a priest or a pastor. I know people saying there was a difference. There's people going back and forth about it still. But I didn't get the username, but I appreciate to whoever was able to explain to me. They explained it in a very great way, and I responded to it directly as in, hey, thank you. And I responded from the Five Guys account because we're all responsible for a certain account. For anybody who's curious, who responds to who? It's kind of divided equally between the three of us. just because it's a response, it might not be for me, it may not be from Ha, it may not be from John. It goes for all 3 platforms. It might be one of us 3. But I left a dash Rob because, again, it did make an impact on my life. I also talked to my dad about it. He told me how he prays. You know, when he prays, he talks about one time really, and he doesn't really mention it again because it's the equivalent of why are you praying to God the same way, or not? Why are you praying to God about the same thing if He already heard you the first time? It's almost like you're contradicting His belief of you may not believe in Him because you have to ask again, like, oh, He didn't hear you. So again, that reel that took off was able to answer kind of what I had, and hopefully it helps answer anybody else out there who has similar. It's just a different perspective. Like, yes, pastors. Sorry, is it priests or pastors in the Catholic Church?
For the Catholic faith, it's priests.
Is there a big difference? I'm not knowledgeable. Well,
I wouldn't say so. I would say it's like same, but different. In my own opinion, one of the comments did explain, like, hey, it's not pastor, it's priest. But I think that's just the terminology that Catholicism uses for their father.
Really quick, you go to a Christian church, correct? Mm-hmm. Do you guys do communion?
Yes, we do, actually.
Oh, you guys do?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you guys do like the whole, I don't know if you would call it like a ceremony or like a...
Somewhat. Yeah. I mean, like, we do. I try to not use that in my vocabulary. But basically, yeah, when we conduct communion, it's basically just a part of the service that we do after worship. So all of us will take communion together. Pastor will give his prayer, explain why we take communion, and then we will take communion together, which is pretty cool. I mean, because not a lot of churches do it as often, but we try to do it at least monthly, which is super.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
because I know I grew up Catholic, so every time I would go to church on a Sunday, it would be every Sunday that they would do communion, and they would do a whole. I don't know if ceremony is the right word, but the priest would do. I can't even remember the right words that he would say, but he would give his like blessing to it, and I believe in the Catholic faith, like we believe that is the actual blood and body of Jesus Christ when we're doing communion. Is that it's the same for you guys?
Yeah, I would say that's super similar, especially like at our church. I mean, he breaks it down like we're, drinking the blood of Jesus, the blood of the Lamb, sorry. And we're partaking in communion, which is the bone or flesh of, Jesus too. So, yeah, I mean, the communion is pretty short, though. It doesn't take the entirety of the preacher's sermon, but we definitely spend a small section of that service, and everyone dresses up super nice. So we try to keep it on a frequent basis. I think it's every first Sunday of the month. Could be wrong. But that's typically how we do it. I don't know how Catholic churches do it, but I know that I've gone with my mom because my mom's in this weird space of Catholic Christian.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And so she'll make all the kids go to church with her sometimes, and we do take communion together.
Right.
What defines a Catholic Christian? And this is just me being curious because I know the Catholics, I believe everything that we've talked about of a Catholic church, and then there's a Christian church. What defines a Catholic Christian? Is that a person who's converting from Catholic to Christian, or does that mean that they're in the beliefs of Catholic church and the Christian church? How does that work? I'm just curious, and if you don't know the answer, maybe they can also chime in.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but I grew up in the Catholic faith, and I just jumped back into my faith and my journey, so I'm still trying to figure out where exactly I'm at. But where I was going with this is my grandma, she says that we're Catholic Christians. I don't know exactly the meaning behind it. I guess you can say we're pretty... I guess we're Catholics that believe... I don't know. Honestly,
no worries. It's a hard... It's not... I'm saying... It's kind of a hard question whenever you throw somebody into that, just for anybody. That's why I also like to clip certain things, because for anybody who claims themselves as Catholic Christian, they could also respond to what is a Catholic Christian? Does a Catholic Christian contradict its own self?
Right.
Can you only be Catholic? Can you only be Christian?
I'll get back to you on that. I'll actually ask my grandma to see what her response is, and then I'll let you and the audience know what her answer is. And
Yeah, no, definitely.
And maybe if the audience has an answer for us as well, they can go ahead and chime in. And
Yeah, I think and the interpretation might be definitely like specific to the individual. Because my aunt would, declare that she was a Catholic Christian. She went to Catholic services, but incorporated a lot of Christian beliefs over the Catholic beliefs.
But isn't the Christian beliefs the same as Catholic, or is it just the way that
controversy that we've been talking about? And I think we've read a lot of
controversy in the comments.
Controversy in our comments, trying to distinguish the two, but also center it around like we all believe in God, which has caused a lot. I mean, we've had so many comments.
400 and something comments in one of our reels.
I think it was 476.
476 comments.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have a definitive answer, and I wish I could be like, yeah, this is exactly what they do. But my aunt would always go to mass, but she always believed in like Jesus as the Father, the center of the religion, which was kind of unique, in my sense. But I never asked either, so I think it's a good question for your grandma. But if anybody else out there either classifies themselves as a Catholic Christian or knows someone who does, or has just more knowledge about that mesh, that would be super sick for us to hear some comments below.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, it definitely will. To backtrack to where we were, one of the videos that took off was asking about.
Wait, sorry, really
Yeah,
quick.
go
Can I
ahead.
ask you a
Yeah,
question
go
really
ahead.
quick? So you mentioned how your dad says his prayers.
Yeah.
I'm very new at, my journey, so I'm learning how to say, my prayers and give thanks and everything. How do you go about it? Do you say your prayers every morning and every night, or is it just like...
To be vulnerable right now, I don't have a definite answer because of the reel that went viral and the different inputs I got from the people in the comments from my dad. Is before that video went viral, I used to pray on a daily basis. When I pray, I don't just pray, I don't just ask, I conversate with God. I almost tell him about my day like he's my best friend, because a relationship with God is a relationship. It's not I come to him whenever I need something. Oh, I hope I get the job, or I hope I win the lottery, or this is not. I'm not just begging. I'm not just always asking. I'm like, hey God, thank you for giving me a flat tire, because I was prideful towards that person, and I know I shouldn't have, and you humbled me. And that's not being angry with him. That's me giving him like a thank you, like, hey, thank you for checking me, because as a man and as a growing man, as we're all men, after a certain age, our father can't really check us anymore, our biological father, but the father who can check us is Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. That's when he's the one who sees everything you do in secrecy and in privacy and everything. That's when he knows what's going on in your mind and gives you those answers. And there was one day where I was very prideful at the gym. This is me being very vulnerable. I was very prideful at the gym towards a certain person. That's a story for a different day. Some past stuff happened with me and that person. Didn't talk to him. Thought it was better. Thought it was that. Coming home, I got a flat tire. And before that, I was always pray to God, like, hey, if I'm ever stepping out of line, check me, correct me. And he checked me by giving me a flat tire, because there's always this one pothole. I always avoided it. Every single day of my life, I always avoided it. The one time I was prideful, I got a flat tire in that same pothole that I always avoided my entire life. And the next day, that pothole wasn't there anymore, because they fixed it. So just coincidentally, I got a flat tire on the pothole that I saw every day, and the next day, it's gone. But, so when I pray, I used to pray the same prayer every day. Please, make sure I'm financially successful. I'm financially this. I'm wealthy. I'm healthy. Beautiful family. Healthy kids. All that great stuff.
So
that's how I used to pray.
Oh, okay, got you. So you would pray for specific things.
Yeah, but that's how I would babble on, saying the same prayer over and over and over,
gotcha.
Almost repetitive. Even though I meant it from the heart the first time, I would still say it repetitively. But that's also, now that I look at it, it's like, damn, am I doubting God that he doesn't listen to me, because everything's through God's timing. Like, God will grant me my prayers during the right time, because God's timing is the best timing. That's 100% facts. Like the Bibles that were in stock, they were out of stock for a while. They came in stock the same day I got 3 unexpected paychecks. Nice. Like, oh my God, it's so great. It's like, I was like, why aren't they in stock? Why aren't they stock? And then boom, basically I didn't really have to pay for them, because these unexpected paychecks covered it all. It's like, how coincidental is that, But that's now, to be vulnerable again, it's where I'm kind of struggling. Is, damn, how do I pray on a daily basis going forward? And to answer the question is how my dad explained how he prays. He'll say his prayer, Like he'll ask for good fortune, he'll say his thank yous, he'll say everything like that. But he primarily focuses on Bible study, is understanding the scripture, so then he could fulfill his mission about helping others who may have any questions or any other. My dad is very knowledgeable, and that's the thing I don't like about myself. Just growing up, I was very prideful, I was very stubborn. I don't, God this, God that. But now that I'm a ripe age of just turning 26, and I found God when I was 25, I was like, damn, I should have not been prideful. I should have listened to my dad. I should listen to his preachings and everything like that. But now in the kitchen, whenever he's cooking or I'm cooking, we'll converse. Hey, Dad, what do you think about this Bible? What do you think about, or this Bible verse? What do you think about that? And now we'll go back and forth, not arguing, but he's teaching me now. Because now my ears are open, my eyes are open of wanting to seek to understand of how do you interpret this Bible verse now. And he's a great teacher. So to anybody who's out there, if your dad or your parents ever trying to teach you or somebody who's older, drop your pride, drop your ego, don't be stubborn and just learn because they are older than you. They probably have more wisdom than you. Not all the time, and I understand that, but people tend to have more wisdom the older they are. So just give them a minute, listen to them, and they could completely change your life. Mm-hmm. But now my new journey, as you're going through your spiritual journey, I'm going through my own journey, is that I'm trying to now figure out the new way to pray, because the appropriate way. My flaw in me is I try to be a perfectionist. I try to figure out how do I do everything so perfect. And when it comes to that, it's like, okay, can I satisfy God by praying this way? Can I pray that way, or can I pray this way? I'm trying to figure everything out.
So there's a right way and a wrong way to pray, is what you're saying?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't agree with that. I believe it's a learning lesson. As in, everybody has to learn the right way to pray. For me, example, being vulnerable, is that I would say the same prayer over and over. But I believe that there is a certain way to pray. And anybody who is out there, please, I mean politely. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm right, you're wrong. Just acknowledge me humbly. As in, what is the correct way to pray to God? Do you say the same prayer over and over? Do you say your same Bible verses over and over? Or do you pray through the church? Do you pray in private? I think there is many ways to pray. But as long as you mean it from the heart, it's what's actually going to show your relationship with God. And that's just me personally. I'm not saying this is the right way. That's just how I feel eternally, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I think it just kind of resorts back to what we were talking about earlier about, I think the defining word here, and the right way to pray and the wrong way to pray would be just intentionality. Gotcha. At the end of the day. And I know that we were having this conversation talking about relationships, or when you tell your significant other, hey, I love you, do you just say it out of habit, out of routine, or is it something that you genuinely mean? Because it's not something that should be passed around lightly. Like if I tell somebody that I love them, I hope that they receive it in the sense like, oh, he's being like authentic every single time. Yeah, genuine. And that there's depth behind it. And I would agree to Rob. I mean, at times, like I would just repeat a prayer because I felt like it was just something an obligation that I had to do every single night before I went to bed. And it wasn't until later when I started to develop a deeper relationship with Jesus that I would actually change my prayers a little bit. And I do still, pray about the same things, but like my heart and soul are like in those prayers, like, praying for my loved ones, or praying for, good fortune, or my job, or the people, my close friends. Like those are things that I repeat in my prayer, but I generally mean it every time. And then, the rest of my prayer really depends on what state of heart my heart is in, what position, or my mind is at that time. And so I think one of the greatest tools is like that I've received would be like soaking in the Holy Spirit, which is just, dude, quite, and some people would call it meditation, is another name for it. But you just like sit down, peace and quiet, whether it's a minute in your car during your lunch break, or at night before bed, or in the morning, just like, dude, just being present and being intentional, letting your mind, body, and spirit just like align with Jesus, and pray. Ask for things. And I think the important thing too, to take is that some people will like pray out of hope, right? And like I know hope can be tossed around as a good word to have, because we're like, let's have hope. But when you're talking to Holy Spirit and praying for things out of hope, like I hope this happens, there's still that possibility of it not happening, right? There's still that little bit of doubt. But when you pray in faith, when I have faith in someone, like I have faith in you that you're gonna do this, it's more confident, and I would say almost 100%. So that's something that I try to really check myself on. Am I praying out of hope, or if I'm praying in faith? Because when you pray for something, He'll do it. You know, and then just having that confidence in your Father that He will do it has been like a huge game changer for me in the way that I pray. And again, that is my own personal experience, and a lot of people might have different opinions, but I know hope is used as a word of being like enlightened or, you know, wishing for the best. But there's also the chance that it won't happen. Faith, I feel like, is pretty unshakable if you're the right person, you know, with faith.
So, I guess my follow-up question to that is, so when you guys pray, it's not only about yourself. You're also praying, you know, for others and for the benefit of others, the people, the less fortunate. You're praying for the less fortunate. You're praying for all the homelessness that's out there. You're praying for all the people that are affected by wars. You're praying for, that's all in consideration, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I'll take this one and then pass it off. I think, it really depends, dude. Honestly, like when I'm going to bed at night, really what crosses my mind or like comes into my heart, I usually pray about it. And it could be like the smallest thing, like, you know, like I pray that like when I travel to the beach tomorrow for my self-care trip, that I find fulfillment, but I also travel safely. To things as big as like my employees at work. Like I pray for my employees quite often, actually, because I'm just like really thankful, and it's not asking for anything. It's more than like sharing gratitude and being thankful for my employees. Like I'm just like, dude, I just love my employees, and whoever's like going through whatever it is, whether it's negative or going through positive, just like be with them. You know what I mean? Like have your hands in their life. If they are, you know, benefiting or reaping the rewards of their hard work and success, like times it by 10. But if they are suffering, then I'm just like, dude, like honestly, just be with them. Like I hope that the Holy Spirit falls upon them tonight in their sleep, and it could be the smallest thing as getting a good night's sleep. You know what I mean? Because I've had friends who are like, dude, I can't sleep. I just like constantly stay awake. I'm tired. I'm overthinking. And sometimes I'll even pray for those friends of like, hey, just like fall over them tonight. Like give them a good night's rest and just be with them. So it really just, I wish there was more of like a streamlined answer, but I really just play it by how I feel. Of course, that kind of contradicts what I'm saying. Like I do have common things that I pray about, right? Like my parents, they're older. I always pray about my family. I always pray about my job. I always pray about my son, my close friends. And then, you know, I'll kind of let the dust settle.
Of the day by day, like, okay, so this happened today. I'm gonna, you know, you have you're solidified. Okay, I'm gonna pray for my family. I'm gonna pray for my friends.
Your close circle that you pray for.
Yeah.
Right, like your close circle that you're gonna pray for, and then I guess in my interpretation, you go based off of like, okay, like for example, Kansas City won the Super Bowl. Shout out Chiefs. But during the parade, they had that shooting that went on. I think one person died and 10 were injured. So like in that sense, or like for me, what I would do, okay, I would pray for, my close circle, and then I would be like, okay, and I would also like to send a prayer out to the people that were affected in the shooting in KC. Pray for the people that, pretty much affected by that whole situation. Is that how you guys would go about it?
I mean, I would. That's very unfortunate, first and foremost, and scary. And I mean, I would pray for the people that were obviously injured, right, and their families, but also the people that were involved at whatever capacity, whether the individual passed away or they were injured, or just the people there that were like traumatized by that, because that's scary.
Definitely.
I mean, going to an event with the expectation of celebration and
happiness, blissfulness,
all the positive, joy.
Well, and it's crazy because you can take it pretty deep too. So you can pray for that situation, but then you can also pray, and this gets into politics, but you pray for the people that are in charge of the politics. With that being said, it's about gun control. It's about who can go and, I think Kansas City laws, anybody can get a gun. I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but I don't think their background, or I don't know if they have background checks. I'm pretty sure they do, but like I know here it's a little bit tougher to get guns. Out there it's pretty easy.
Suppressors.
Yeah, I can speak on that because I'm from Oregon, right? But I moved to California, and I do have a gun, right? Like I'm a gun owner. My process, The gym.
Intrusive thoughts.
No, but in Oregon, like the process of purchasing a gun is so simple. Like I literally will go into, Sportsman Warehouse or Coastal, which is a local like Sportsman Warehouse type shop, and just let them know what gun I want, and I'll literally like pay for it, go through the background check, which literally takes like 2 hours, and then walk out with the gun. They even have like gun shows where you can purchase guns on site without having to go through an arms dealer. I mean, it might be an arms dealer there, and walk out, or they even auction off guns, to people who win, which is so crazy. But when I moved to California, right?
Process.
Yeah, because I wanted to get a firearms for my household because I obviously want to be safe, not dissing on Stockton, but we live in a dangerous city, and I obviously have people I want to protect. I want to protect myself and my little dog. I love my dog. But when I came here, I was like, I was very mind blown with how strenuous the process was, which I see why, but I literally had to, I had to bring proof of my address. I had to provide, my passport and my ID, proof of residence. And then I went through, had to purchase the firearm, and then I had to get it registered to my name. But before that, sorry, skipped a step. I had to take a firearms test, pass the test,
Right.
And then go through that whole process, which took about a month before I even could pick up 3 weeks to a month before I could even pick up my firearms. But in some cases, if you buy like a rifle, like I was overhearing people who were purchasing rifles because Black Friday shopping. That's how I got the deal on my firearms. They had to provide like a safe code. And so I'm not sure how accurate that is, but yeah, they had to provide a safe code for their firearms before they can even take the firearms home. And then as far as like the concealed weapons law goes, right? In Oregon, like I would literally have my rifle just in my truck, and I would be like, yeah, it's just there. Like I'm going to go drive out into the woods, go shoot. Or if I got pulled over, I'm like, I'm going shooting, or you can kind of shoot wherever as long as you know what you're doing. But in California, like even if you get a concealed license, right, concealed firearm, you have to keep your firearm and your ammo in separate compartments of your vehicle.
And have your gun locked, unless it's a shotgun.
Yes.
You gotta have it locked.
Yeah, because I'm like, if I get in a shootout or have to defend myself, I literally have to. Hold on, bro, don't shoot me yet.
Let me load my gun real quick.
Yeah, let me load my gun so it's fair. You know what I mean? And then like run to the back of my car, unlock my car, and then like So all that to say, yeah, I get where you're coming from, and like speaking on, I don't know what Kansas's gun laws are, but Oregon was, I would say, kind of similar.
Right.
I wish it was like Texas, to be honest, or like Canada, where it's like open to carry. Like, who are you gonna mess with that when you know it's open to carry?
On this topic, what are your guys' exact? Because we have all kinds of, crazy shootings that are going on. These mass shootings.
You see the viral video that just happened like yesterday about a cop who was walking back to his vehicle, and apparently an acorn fell on the top of his roof of his car, and he took it as a gunshot, dove down, rolled, and started opening fire to the area. But the suspect was already in custody, like in the back of the cop car. That happened just like 24 hours ago. An acorn, like it slowed it down. You can see the acorn fall on top of the hood of the squad car. Uh-huh. He took it as a gunshot because an acorn falling from kind of high.
Right.
It fell, made a loud bang. He took it as, I'm being shot at because he was walking.
And did he hit anybody?
I don't think he hit anybody. Nobody was shot. Nobody was injured. But it definitely did startle the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I believe a week later he resigned from the force. But it was just released, like the footage,
Wow.
the story, everything like that. But he resigned. It's a little funny, but it's like
Someone could have seriously got
somebody
hurt.
could. Yeah, that's coming from the police department. I don't have anything against cops. I mean, that's a whole different story. I don't have anything against cops. I don't believe everybody. That's a whole story.
Yeah, yeah.
I support my cops. Anyways, but I just had to include that because it was a crazy
I think
story.
it is traumatizing. I mean, given like Stockton, like our local page 209 Times, which I follow 209 Times because I like to keep updated. Not the most credible resource for incidents occurring in our city, but they do post everything, which is kind of crazy. But like to see the amount of shootings, killings, crashes, etc. that happen in Stockton being like the size that we are, I'm like really baffled. And I work in the business where we serve a lot of police officers coffees and energy drinks and stuff, like just hearing some of their like strenuous days and all this stuff that they go through, that has to create some sort of PTSD.
Oh,
and
definitely.
so I could definitely
There's
like
a guy at the gym that I just met, and I had a conversation with him. He was a cop here in Stockton, and he recently resigned because he said that it was too much, and they didn't get paid. I guess in the Stockton area, they're not getting paid as much. In the their department is not getting paid as much as like the departments around, which is kind of insane because I'm pretty sure Stockton is the most dangerous out of like Lodi, Turlock, Manteca.
Within the Central Valley, this little pocket,
Right.
209.
Yeah.
Right, and they're getting paid the least, and like how you were saying, Stockton is pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
And he was saying like almost every night he'd have his gun drawn on somebody. So it's like, it makes you think like, wow. Like for me, I personally want to have a gun. I just haven't gone through the process to get it.
Same.
But I do wish that the background checks were more, I guess, thorough, because you have these people that are, sometimes they're not all there, and they have easy access to get a gun.
Like our president. Sorry.
Yeah, so and when you get easy access to it and they're just not all there, that leads to issues, which is like a mass shooting, or you see them, there's times to where people's going into churches, and I think there was recently another one where
There was Joel. No, just
I can't
Joel
remember.
Osteen?
It was a church, and then
was
she had like
yeah.
a free Palestine shirt or something like that, and it was something along those lines. Yeah, but I wish that the background checks were, I guess, more thorough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how valid this is, but they were talking about doing like it's not an IQ test, but it's like checking their mental state.
Oh,
right?
I think I know
Like
what
a
you're
mental health
talking
check?
about.
Yeah, basically, like that was something that they were discussing, and I'm not sure where or when, but it's something that I read briefly. But I do agree. But also, I kind of look at the system that Texas has, because it's open to carry, right? Like if everybody was strapped, imagine
Nobody's gonna pull on each
But-
other.
Right. That makes sense
Can you
too.
can
That
you
does make
imagine
sense.
like if Kansas City
Actually, I think what would happen if that was the whole state, I think there would be kind of an issue in the beginning, but then once people realize how much, it's going to affect people and it's affecting families and it just kind of trickles down, then it'll slow down.
Yeah.
You're going to have a spike and then you'll have a dip after that. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, well,
It makes sense from how humans would react when it's like when a kid gets a new
full
toy.
authority.
Yeah, a kid gets a new toy. They're gonna play with it all the time. Use it as much as they can. Okay, I'll
But
just
I
leave
see,
it there.
but I'm like,
Yeah.
on the board, I'm like on the line with that too, because you get the wrong people with the gun, they're not gonna care. They're just gonna.
Oh yeah.
But it does play a factor to where, okay, I know he has a gun and I have a gun.
Exactly.
So it's like you're putting your life at risk, but then at the same time, there's people
Yeah.
that they're just like.
Well, I look at it
But
too
is
as
it better chance to give the civilian, like a regular civilian who doesn't mean a harm,
That
a
makes
fighting
sense, too.
chance?
yeah,
That makes
no,
sense,
and,
too.
and I think that's where I kind of lean towards like liking that idea. One, I get what you're saying, because like it's like people who turn 21, right? Now that they're given the opportunity to have all this power, drink where they want, go to bars, like they're gonna overdo it, and then later in life, hopefully they figure it out and they're like,
Right.
cool, this isn't everything. Same thing with guns, and I think that's with everything that's in our nature as humans. We kind of like we want it all, but as you were saying, like imagine if that everybody had open to carry, right, in Kansas, using this example, and a civilian whips out and like rather than a civilian arrest, they take action and stop the shooter. You know what I mean? I think that would have less of less damage to the public, obviously.
Well, and there's been examples of that, I believe, in Texas, where somebody's in a restaurant and they're trying to rob the restaurant owner with a gun, and they're putting other people's lives at danger, and then you have like an off-duty cop or something like that. Boom, and they have it right there. Situation is done.
Yeah, less casualties, I would say. I mean, and again, like, I kind of see both sides, so I'm kind of stuck in the middle. But I was also watching, like, I forget, like a TikTok or a comedian talking about Canada, and I don't know how true this is either, because it was on TikTok, but they're talking about them being open to carry and how, like, it'd be kind of scary to rob like an 80-year-old woman, because what if she just whips out a gat and starts shooting at you? You know what I mean? Like, and this at the time, this was years ago, but they were like, yeah, Canada has one of like the lowest crime rates because everybody is strapped. And I would say like Texas, you know, obviously like Houston, I hear a lot about how dangerous that city can be, but I mean, your example primarily is like, cool, if everybody had a strap on them when these incidences did occur, how many people would take action to stop? Because I'm definitely an advocate for, I hate bullies, right? I hate people who harass people or take advantage of the little guys. So like me instinctively, I would definitely be like, yo, I'm going to help you out, because I don't want anybody who's just doing their job to get punished because people want to be selfish, you know what I mean? So I don't know, you know, I think, yeah, but that's a huge topic. And I know it's a controversy now because Kansas City just happened. I know that's blowing up. And just reading some of the testimonies from that, from like the players and also people who are there, I'm just like, wow. You know, my prayers go out to you and your city, because to win the Super Bowl and then have that happen during your celebration, I can only imagine the hysteria that caused.
And shout out to the, I believe it was 2 gentlemen that went and tackled the shooter.
Yeah.
Kind of stopped it from happening. Shout out to those guys. They're, I mean, I guess heroes, really. I mean, they stopped
genuinely,
it
they're
from
saving people's lives, because who knows how much longer that could have gone on for.
Right,
you know,
right.
Realistically speaking.
So shout out to them.
Yeah, dude. Wow.
I will throw a curveball with all this stuff, because I still want to backtrack to the conversation of prayer and whatnot. But the curveball for this is, do you think this is a way to avoid civilian civil war, like civil war?
Ooh, I love this. I'm going to come back to this.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But genuinely, do you think, question was, do you think this is a way of
Gun control.
make it more difficult to tame guns through gun control in order to avoid a civil war in the future?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a huge topic. I don't know how huge it is, but it's definitely something that I've been like monitoring a little bit. My family is pro guns because we live in Oregon. We're all hunters and we like shooting guns. And so, you know, some of the discussions that we've been having is just like arming ourselves, preparing for anything. And I think we've seen like leaks of like, what's his name? The Facebook.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg, like building that bunker
Oh,
and everything.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say that the world right now, I mean, our nation in general is kind of on this teetering edge of like, it could kind of go anywhere. But as far as like them making these calls to restrict or adding more restrictions to people obtaining guns is a form of gun control, you know, which could potentially lead to less shootings, right, that happen, or massacres. But also, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence, because I would prefer to be prepared for anything, right? Have it and not need it, than need it and not have it. And not having as much control as we should. I mean, I would say I am definitely one of those individuals that are pro guns. But
I mean, I'll support you pro gun as well, even though I may not carry myself or anything like that. It's like, realistically speaking, based off of numbers, is there more responsible people who can actually learn how to handle a gun and be open carry safely and protect themselves, versus the amount of irresponsible people who will use that for bad? I genuinely believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but there's more responsible people who will do more good than bad. And then if anything, the people who would do more bad are genuinely disencouraged to do it, because they know like they can't just go be a bully with a gun, because who knows if that pro-gun American who carries is going to fight back. Now that the mentally, there's like, well, everybody's open carry, just like the grandma example that you gave, you know, she's gonna pull out a blicky on you. Or something.
Yeah.
Hey, Juan, can you get the stats on that real quick?
Yeah, please.
If you can, put it up on the screen. Thank you.
Yeah, but one thing I would say, I hear what you're saying, because like when I went to go purchase my gun, right, the test that I took, I just had to read about it and take a test, and I was able to purchase a gun. But to get your concealed, you would actually have to register for a course, pay for that course, and get taught how to use it before you get your concealed. Growing up in Oregon, yes, like as a kid, like having a gun and shooting a .22 rifle in your backyard, not necessarily your backyard, in a crowded neighborhood, right? But like farmland, we would just go out and shoot wherever we wanted, when we wanted. But the cool thing about it also was I also had buddies in the military, right, who trained snipers, and I got some experience through that. And then we have like an air base, and so it's basically like a military town as well. And I would say that because of that, I feel more responsible, and I know the ins and outs of like when to shoot, when not to shoot, how to shoot exactly. But I do think like not everyone is granted that experience. And I mean, accidents happen, but also I hear what you're saying, and I do think I wish there was like more that people would have to do before purchasing a gun. Like go through the gun safety course before you purchase a gun, so you know how it works, right? Clean it, load it, maintain it, but also so you know how to use it. And I think that'd be a cool addition. And yes, it might be an obstacle because in other places you kind of just go in and purchase it, but I was grateful for it, honestly. Like all the shooting experience that I've received, like my friends taught me the ins and outs of how to shoot rifles and pistols, how to hold it, went through shooting courses. We have a lot of shooting ranges outdoor, and I was like, dude, I'm better off for it. And so some people might think like gun control is a bad thing, right? But at least like if it were to come down to, you know, a civil war, you at least know how to use the firearms that you have, rather than just purchasing something that you don't know how to use, you don't know how to aim. Because I see people shoot sometimes, and I'm like, that's scary.
Target's right there, the bullet's over there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so I'm not saying everyone has that experience, and I get like there should be maybe one additional step is like learn how to use your gun. And that should be like something that people are excited about rather than it being like an obstacle.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean?
I get it, but we live in California.
Uh-huh.
Someone breaks into your home.
You can't even shoot him.
So it's like, okay, what do you do? You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. And that was one of the questions that I failed on, because in Oregon, I mean, I was under the impression if someone is trespassing or breaks into your home, you're obligated to
Protect
use
your
forces.
property, right.
Yeah.
I think
But
if
I could
they
be wrong.
break in, you have to feel, or I can't remember the exact.
You don't have to feel in California. I failed it because I selected that answer. Like if you feel threatened by them, like
Oh wait, what?
yeah, in California. Well, this was what I felt on the test, and so, but I was under the assumption that if someone breaks into your home and you feel threatened, you're obligated to use a firearm.
And that's what I thought.
But I think the answer was they
have
have to have a
attacking
weapon.
you. Oh, I think you're right.
And
You're
attacking you before you can use your firearms.
Right.
Otherwise, they can sue you. Because you hear stories of people who break into individuals' homes. I think one of the biggest ones was like they fell in and cut their arm on a cheese cutter or something
And they
like that.
sued?
And they sued and
No
won.
way.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And this,
That
again,
is insane.
this is hearsay because it was so long ago. But yeah, when I took my test, I believe that's the answer that I got wrong. So if I am wrong, please correct me. But I think it's if someone breaks into your home in California, they have to have a weapon and be threatening you with the weapon for you to use your weapon.
How far do we have to be away from God where self-defense becomes a crime? How far do we have to be away from God? Because that genuinely internally frustrates me.
Yes.
How far do you have to be away from God for that to be
Literally,
happening?
if somebody breaks into my home, I'm gonna do whatever I can to keep them out, and that goes for
Yeah. I mean, using the forces that you have. 'Cause,
Right.
I mean,
I'm decapitating their legs. I will put their leg on the curb and stop them
right.
if I can't
See,
shoot.
but then see, my thing is too though, you do that so they break in, and you shoot them or you do whatever you got to do. Well, then they're hurt. They go to, they do their time or whatever. Or say they escape. Well, they're gonna try to come back to you because you didn't finish the job. So it's like, okay, well, what do? Do I kill this guy or do I just let him go on the run? It's like,
This, and I could only speak for California, but being a resident here, California was something beautiful, and Newsom just,
to the dumps.
threw it away. And a lot of people say it, and people can hide behind their pride, their ego, but California is not what California used to be anymore. It used to be this beautiful place where everybody would look forward to. It's just, California's just a piece of crap now, honestly. It's
really is the taxes.
for anybody
all
who
insane.
speaks highly of it could afford to speak highly of it. That's a big difference.
But even the people that are, that have the big homes are the ones paying a crazy
Bezos
amount.
just left California to move to Florida, I believe.
He did.
Yeah, he did for a big
To-
tax cut or
Right.
tax whatever
Right.
the case is. And people look at him and say, "Why are you leaving?" You know, they make a big deal, but it's like, bro, if you were making that much money too, wouldn't you want a tax break? Like, homie worked hard for his work. He spent all the countless hours not going to clubs, not going to bars, but the same people who are complaining about him leaving are the same people who are lazy, who are sloths, who don't put the work in, and they complain about a billionaire getting a tax cut. It's like, bro, go put in the work and go build your empire. That's what homie did. Don't compare yourself to that and then get butthurt that he's making millions and you're over here making the same price you made whenever you were 20 and clubbing. That's your own fault. Like,
Right.
you shouldn't be complaining. that's
There goes the cousin.
yeah, that's just me getting into it because it's just like, it's common sense. I'm tired of hearing all these people complain about people who made it and all these taxes. Like, bro, you club every weekend. You're lazy. You go to your 9 to 5 job every day. You don't put the work in. You don't go to the gym. You don't do this, and then you complain about all these people who make fortunes that are trying to get their own tax break. Bro, they spent the hours working to make that money. What'd you do? Play Call of Duty?
Taxes.
Bro, get a life. Go work. That's just me
Yeah.
Well,
expressing myself.
I guess there's.
Don't be
there's-
mad because you're poor
Yeah, and there's
and lazy.
tax loopholes that are legal that we can all do. It's just, have we put in the time to look to how to do it?
Yeah.
It's and
Do
I
your
feel like
research.
the people that are, that have all the money, they have people that do their taxes for them, so they know all about it.
But that's
We
the
have
profession
to-
they chose. Yeah.
Right, but we have to do it ourselves. What's stopping us from learning? We have YouTube, we have
everything there. Genuinely, just
everything
like
in our.
how to start a podcast, how to work a camera, how to play the guitar, how to whatever the case is. It's there, but people like to prioritize fun, one night stands, alcohol, weed, versus sacrificing the boring stuff, which is learning what a tax break is, learning the loopholes. And then, they take it to the social media and complain, oh, why is this person doing this? Why is that? Bro, do your homework.
Yeah,
You're
they just
cringe.
want it
You're
easy.
a pick me.
They
You're
want it
annoying.
easy.
Yeah. That's me a little bit of event, is just seeing a grown-ass adult complain about another grown-ass adult who put in the work while they're the ones complaining and doing nothing. They're the one waiting for the government checks. They're the ones waiting for this. They're the ones, it's a lot. And some people use government checks very, professionally, everything like that. But let's be real. There's more people who abuse it than use it responsibly. That's just common sense in a way.
Yeah, what makes me laugh too in California is that we have sales tax. We get taxed on our check, and then we may have to pay taxes at the end of the year on top of the tax we've already.
The $1 bill is only worth like 60 cents because the employer gets taxed on it.
Yeah.
Then you get taxed on it for getting your money. Then when you spend that money, you get taxed. And that store who also made the purchase gets taxed on it. That's 10% from each transition from going from the employer to the employee, from the employee spending it to the market, from the market getting the funds. You get taxed like 4 times.
You know what's crazy with all this inflation that's going on and whatnot.
Bidenomics.
So savings accounts.
Yeah.
Right now, you may see a benefit in savings accounts because the interest rates are a little bit higher right now. But you're looking at putting your money in, what you want to do. And don't quote me on this, or this is just, my personal opinion. Not financial advice, there you go. But, what I do is I put my money, not all of it, of course, because you don't want to, you're taking a risk. But I put a lot of my money in the stock market. And what you could do is just, the easiest way to do it is just follow the S&P 500. Because the S&P 500 sees about a 7 to 8% average of return, versus just keeping your money in a savings account where it's doing nothing for you. So you want your money to work for you in the long run. And 7 to 8% isn't anything too crazy, but it's better than leaving your money and technically losing because of inflation, rather than putting it into the S&P and it doing a little bit for you,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely save in multiple ways. I do have money in the stock market. I do like investing because, I mean, like your ROI could potentially be really successful depending on, what stocks you buy into. But I've also been watching TikToks on what you're discussing. I also keep cash on me as well, which I'm not trying to leak my address or anything, but and the only reason being is because, funny story. So I had this lady who came through the shop one time, and I was like, why do you always pay in cash? And she's like, bro, if we were ever to get intact, right? Like, and I just watched a movie. It's like Leave the World Behind Us. On
Oh, I know
Netflix.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, where there's stages of, attack on our nation. But they're like, if they cut out the power, all electricity, right? EMP, electromagnetic pulse, yeah, EMP, shut out all the power, you would have no valuables.
Currency, yeah.
No currency with you, right? Because your phones would be dead, potentially. No Wi-Fi service, ATMs, you wouldn't have access to anything. Because nowadays, like when I go to draw money, they're like, put your card in.
Yeah.
I'm like,
The ATM's powered by electricity.
yeah, but also
Or
like
the
at the
card.
teller, right? Like now I have to like put my card inside the reader to withdraw cash. But I always try to keep at least some cash on me just in case of that. But I do hear what you're saying, and I mean a savings account does sound convenient, but I'm pretty old school. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because once that did happen, like that movie freaked me out a little bit. Because I was like, the possibilities the incidences that were occurring, I was like, that can really happen.
I never thought about
Start
it.
prepping and getting ready to barter. That's what I
Yeah.
can say. Well, that's
We
just a
gotta
little
go.
prepper
See,
in me.
okay, so as soon as that happens,
Do you guys
we
prep?
go loot a bank and we're good.
Yeah.
But do you guys prep? Preppers?
Oh.
Doomsday preppers type stuff?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever look into that?
Oh, I mean, I like the show. Yeah,
I kind of
bunkers were
mentally
pretty sick.
somewhat prep, and I always have cans on the side and have a little back, like a little bug out bag in case of emergencies and whatnot like that. That's just me though. That's
Wait,
me.
you do? You have like a little like.
Not crazy. I just have supplies that I know I need. That's something I've been kind of dwelling because I like to spend responsibly my money. Because when I really look into something, I like to like splurge out in a way. Like if I buy one thing, I gotta buy this, and I gotta buy that.
See, but you get the top of the line.
Yeah. I go like I'm gonna buy it once.
Quantity.
Yeah, in that way. But I kind of do, but I'm not fully into it. I just like to be mentally prepared. I think that comes from the habit of trying to be a perfectionist. Well, if the world's gonna end, I could have this, I could have that, But again, I haven't dropped thousands or nothing like that. I just mentally prepared and I know where everything's at. But I'm trying to accumulate a little bug out bag.
I have a question. If there was a zombie apocalypse,
I love this question.
where would you, like, what store would you want to be?
Sportsman's Warehouse,
Sportsman's Warehouse.
Or Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro Shop.
But then again, everybody and their mom's gonna go there.
Maybe, I don't know. Some people, I mean, get very
Some people-
frantic.
So would you rather stay locked up in your home and be like, okay, I have everything that I need here, or you're gonna be like, I'm going to Bass Pro Shop and I'm gonna lock
I've been
it
waiting
down.
for this answer because realistically, I would probably try to take over a skyscraper.
I mean, that would be sick.
You go all the way to the top. There's no power. The elevators won't work. You block up the stairs. You grow a farm on the very top of the roof of the building.
Smart, but
Oh.
longevity.
I've thought about this
How'd you
all
get
night.
all your food up there.
You work out. You climb the steps, Stairmaster.
Okay, that makes sense. What would
Good.
be your weapon of choice?
Bow and arrow, crossbow.
No, here's a real
Wait,
question.
but-
No, this is a real
Machete,
question.
backpack.
Zombie apocalypse, and then you guys can answer. Are we talking like Zombieland zombies or World War Z zombies?
I'll say Zombieland zombies. That's more. I'll say realistic.
No, World War Z.
World
Let's
War
talk
Z.
about it.
That's a different story.
I'm checking out. World War Z, bro.
What are you gonna do?
Well, that's.
Can they
Dude.
swim?
I don't know.
I'm
You
gonna
know, but
steal, yeah.
you
Bro,
don't
they
have
could take down a plane.
you'd almost have to do like a dude, honestly, I think what I would do is Daniel was in the military. Let's go to the military base.
Oh, that
But
would
then
be sick.
again, you don't think all those men there would be selfish as in, we're not gonna let anybody in.
Identification- Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was in the
awesome.
military,
So, I mean,
though,
yeah,
so
I
we got
mean-
our way in.
We have our way in. No.
What about you? Where would you go?
Me?
Take Daniel out of the picture.
And what would be your weapon of choice?
Well, okay, so you're saying I'd take the ray gun.
Okay.
No, dude.
Call of Duty.
Call of
shout
Duty.
out Ray Gun. Hey.
You don't want the pack-a-punch crossbow?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one too. Or the thunder gun.
Zeus cannon, pack.
I'm gonna throw-
I'm a gamer, bro. I used to be a hardcore gamer. I know all this stuff.
What's the knives?
The throwing
The
knives.
throwing knives or the
I'm
ballistic
gonna
knives.
throw knives, bro. Honestly.
Dude, and then you get the juggernaut.
Oh man.
Speed cola, double tap.
wow.
Dude, what's the one? Oh, flopper. You remember that?
PhD flopper.
Yep.
Yeah.
But seriously, where you going and what's your weapon of choice?
Okay.
First place.
First place. I guess I would say. Shoot. I guess like a Bass Pro Shop, honestly. Yeah. I mean, but that's like an easy like.
I feel like
answer,
everybody
but-
would go there. See, I'm the same
Yeah,
boat as you.
but you got to go there first, and then you got to take over.
but-
But I feel like you got to go there with like a big group. So like, say like I go with my family, you go with your family, you go with your family. Or like we'd have to just get like a big community that's like all together,
Five
and
guys
like so
together.
say if there's people there already, we're like, nah, we're taking over, and so we take them out, we take over. That's our spot until someone tries to take us over, and we're just.
So are you talking
protecting
about
it.
bunkering down in there?
Yeah.
What
Because
is
I'm
that?
pretty sure they have food there too, right?
I mean,
They got the fish
they
in
have
there.
some.
They got the fish.
Fish food.
I mean, it'd be a fish farm technically. Just
Yeah, pretty
if
much
that happens.
pescatarian.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
But anyways, going back to the original question, the original
I need an
question.
answer.
Wait, dude! And then at Bass Pro Shop, they have boats, right?
Yeah.
So what you could do is you could literally get a
Yeah,
boat.
bro.
Yeah, you could just take off, go to the sea, and then literally live on a boat for the rest of
See,
your life.
okay,
eat
I've thought
seafood all
about
day.
that. I've thought about that before. Like, besides the skyscraper, just live at sea. You have all
Well,
your
that's what I'm
fish.
saying. Do they swim? Did World War
I don't think
Z
I've ever
zombies swim?
seen
I
any
don't
zombies
remember.
swim.
Yeah. Well, you let us know in the comments. Do zombies swim?
Game of Thrones, they walk on ice.
Anyways,
The White Walkers.
dude.
Where would you go then?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one. It depends what the
Florida?
circumstance. Did I wake up in the middle of the night and like the infestation or the invasion?
You
or
just
infestation's
clocked off of work
already
and you're
here?
going home and it's happening.
Wow, that's tough.
Like,
Because
you
it would
just
have to be
clocked
close
out.
proximity. Here in Stockton too, we're so flat. There's nothing like. I mean, I'd go probably to one of the downtown buildings, the rooftop. Shout out the rooftop.
That's what I'm saying. Is what I would
the
take over.
rooftop, somewhere
You just
high.
walk off the stairs.
But also, I mean, depends on what armory you have. So honestly, I would probably go to the gun store on Pacific and take what I needed.
He said, "I'm gonna loot everything."
I'm a lewd.
I feel like
I'm
all
not a
that's a
criminal,
gamble,
but-
though. You know, I feel like all that's a gamble.
Maybe,
Like
but
somebody's
where else
gonna
would
be
you
there.
go?
I know, but like I think sometimes
Just to
it's-
get guns?
I mean, so if you're
Well, Bass Pro Shop has everything there.
But where's the closest Bass Pro Shop?
Manteca.
do you
Is
guys?
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Oh man,
So do you guys think people would be
we're hopping
greedy?
in the truck. Just
zoom in there, dude.
Do you think society would be greedy with a place like Bass Pro Shop? Like, let's say that us three pull up there, but there's already people there. Do you think that they're gonna welcome us and like, hey,
No.
grab?
Yeah, they'll
or
be
they're
like,
gonna
nah.
just start shooting.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
like-
lie, but the amount of
Because
I mean-
they're gonna be like, "Are you infected?" Or like.
That's the paranoia sets in.
Yeah, and then if they have like a set group of people, they're gonna be like, "Oh, we're not accepting more people."
who do you know that actually goes to the Bass Pro Shop?
Every time I go there, it's actually pretty packed.
No, I just mean like in your friend group. Like how many people have actually gone to the outdoors? Because do you know how many of my friends? I'm like, have you gone camping? They're like, what? No.
Oh,
But
like
I
on
do.
a.
But like in Oregon, we would go like that's one of my favorite stores. Like Sportsman Warehouse is one of my favorite stores to go to. Knives, guns,
They do have a lot. Fishing rods, everything.
barrel, fishing rods,
They have some snacks.
snacks, coolers, tents, kayaks, boats, Tahitis,
Everything.
Toilet paper.
everything you need.
Toilet paper.
But like the amount of times I'm like, I've tried to go camping with my friends and like never been camping. I'm like, what?
I don't think
Let's
I've
go camping one day.
Have you been camping?
Actually, I have. Yeah.
Tent camping though.
Tent camping. Yes.
Let's do a podcast
I've
in the
done
woods.
both. I've been glamping and camping.
Have you been camping?
I haven't got. I want to go. So.
No, I'm talking tent camping in the sticks, wiping your butt with leaves.
Oh no.
Oh,
just kidding.
yeah. I don't know about
I mean, I've done it with
kidding,
poison
I'm kidding.
ivy, but you know.
I've
no.
had poison ivy and no poison oak. I had it everywhere.
What's the difference? I didn't know that.
One's
Yes.
oak, one's ivy. No, I don't know.
No, really. Oak and ivy, poison oak, poison ivy. I don't know. The 3 leaves though got me because I was climbing. It's called Immigrant Lake in Oregon, and we were like free. No, it was yeah. And we were just free climbing, but there's a cool like cliff that you run and jump off into.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like a 2-second hang time. It's up there, bro.
Oh damn.
Honestly, and we were climbing up there, and I didn't realize what poison oak was
Yeah. And
until later.
You ran into
And
it, you're like,
then-
ah.
Yeah, and my brother got it, and I ended up getting it, and I didn't know, but like, don't scratch it because the oils will like spread it. Dude, I literally had it in crevices that haven't seen
Oh,
light
crevices.
in a long
Oh no.
time. Yeah, bro, I was down
and the crevices
bad.
that don't see light.
Yeah, no, I was. It was terrible.
Dang,
I'm just
yeah,
gonna
that's
say
insane.
that it was terrible.
I don't
So
think I've ever
don't get it.
nothing like that.
Oh, zombie apocalypse and camping.
Yeah.
It's
Anyways.
funny how conversations extend so far, and I love it because it's just
Yeah,
like,
we
it's,
started
it's,
so deep.
we went
Yeah,
from
we-
we went from prayer to football to gun control
We're
to
sorry.
government to civil war to zombies to Bass Pro
I
Shop
think
to
that's a
camping.
question that people ask. Like,
Oh, yeah.
what
Yeah,
was, like if zombie apocalypse were to happen, like what would you do and how would you do it?
Yeah.
And are we talking World War Z or slow zombies? Because slow zombies, I feel like I would take it.
Like
a
Walking
shot.
Dead
You're
zombies?
calling it like
Or a chainsaw. I'd be
yeah, Call of
chainsaw
Duty
man.
zombies.
Hey, level 20, those things are a different breed.
Dude, did I
Oh,
send you
yes.
that? Did I send you that? that meme where it was like the ringtone and there was like zombie sounds?
Dude,
Yes.
zombies at night?
Yes, you
That
did.
thing was funny, huh?
Oh god.
Man. What a day.
What a podcast. No,
I'm like,
Oh, is it somebody else?
zombies? No, I'm just kidding.
Zombies right now.
banging on there, gotta rebuild the barriers.
Yeah.
Ka-ching, ka-ching. It's like $500 to open this door.
No, but to go all the way back to the original question about how to pray and stuff
Gotcha.
like that. It's funny. I like how far we got off track because again,
Zombies to prayer.
all this is all organic. We don't script anything. We have an idea of where we're going to, but we didn't come in here thinking we're gonna talk about Call of Duty Zombies.
No,
Like,
no
not-
idea.
not one
No
clue.
idea.
Not
One.
Bass Pro Shop.
Change the script. Go back.
I'm gonna send you
just
back.
Oh.
You're here because of Biden, okay?
Dang.
No, but your original question from Hav to Rob is how do you pray and all that great stuff. I know that you gave your answer on how you pray for everybody as a whole. From what I will say is that it's funny just whiplashing back to the original thing, like how far we went from point A to point B. It's like,
And then it just like
mentally get back used to where I'm going.
I'm ready.
That's funny. I'm still trying to mentally just, yeah. No Reagan.
We're adults.
Yeah, no. The Olympus back punched. No. But yeah, anyways, back to prayer. Is that I've prayed for the world like anybody else. Oh, I pray for everything, like that. But when I pray for my close circle, I also acknowledge when the prayers are answered that things aren't going to be fixed overnight.
Mm-hmm.
That when I pray, that God will provide an opportunity to do that, and that just happened literally last night. It's not to dive into my personal life, but my girlfriend. I'm not going to go into everything. I pray for my girlfriend just as any husband would pray for the wife, just as any girlfriend would pray for the boyfriend, or boyfriend pray for their girlfriend. Because you love them, right? That's the genuine love. And when you pray for somebody's, like, for certain things to happen into their life, or how do I say this because it's private in a way.
Right.
You're always going to pray for something good to happen, to help them understand something, to help them see the better thing of something in your life, right? But God would provide the opportunity for them to see that, and that happened last night. God's never going to go, He's not just going to go into your life and just add the part to your life to you to understand. He's going to give you the opportunity to learn. And over time, that person can choose to understand or be ignorant and just keep ignoring the opportunity. And then one day it's gonna happen out of just like it's like tackling life. You're either life is gonna teach you or you're going to be able to learn through life. And when life teaches you, it's kind of the hard way. Nobody likes to be taught through life, but people can learn through life by willingly do that. And I believe that's how God answers prayers: is that He will give you opportunities over and over
Revelations.
and over like that. But if you don't want to listen over time, He's just gonna say, you know what? I'm in control now. This is how you're gonna learn, and then He puts you through that tough trial in that way. So I guess to answer your original question is, when I pray, that's how I pray. Is I'll ask for opportunities. I'll pray for opportunities,
And for others as well, correct?
and for others as well. When those
Gotcha.
opportunities present themselves, I can see it's like, okay, cool. That's their opportunity that they have. Let's see if they pass that test, if they pass that tribulation, that trial, whatever the case is. So then that person then could improve on their daily life or whatever the case. And that just happened. It was a beautiful experience seeing it, especially for someone that you prayed for so long in that way. It's all through God's timing in that. But yeah, I just kind of want to share that just because that's something I saw recently, and that's again, if anybody's out there who's watching the long format or if this makes it to shorts, that God will answer your prayers differently. It's probably through opportunity because God's never just going to give it to you. You're gonna have to work for it because God doesn't like lazy people. And I think a lot of people forget that. I think people pray to God, and they expect God just to give it to them, but they don't realize that they have to also work for it. And I think that's what we're so far from now.
Well, I think, it's not necessarily a gift, but I think it's rewarded.
Yeah.
And that would be like my own interpretation of it is like, when you pray for things, God rewards you because how you receive it, right? Like whether it's immediate or you actually have to work for it or it's a word or it's some sort of revelation, like that really is determined by God. And it is a reward either way. But I think like you're saying, I think most people pray for things and they expect it their way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want $1 million and I want it now, but without working for it. But God's like, no, I could provide you an opportunity and here's your reward. Now earn it. Like up to this point, and I guess I would use this analogy, but basically, I'm going to use leadership as a role. Up to a point, you prove you earned a role. Now that you have it, prove why you deserve it, right? So when God says, okay, up to this point, you've earned it, which earning it is going to take, whatever it could be, like speaking it into existence, getting baptized, confessing your sin, working really hard, providing an opportunity. Up to that point, you've earned his reward. Now you have to prove why you deserve his blessing, which would be the answer to your prayer. And that's just how I've always kind of looked at things, because you're right. And I do think people get kind of skeptical when they consistently pray for things and it doesn't happen right away. They kind of lose faith and they're like, well, I've been praying for this for years and it just hasn't happened. But it's like, what are you doing? Because we talked about this in our last pod. Like, God speaks to you differently in different times of your life, depending on where you are. But also, he doesn't always speak to you the same way twice. Sometimes he doesn't say anything at all, and he puts you in front of the obstacle you need to face for him to grant your wish at the end. Because you're right, I think he puts us in, like kids, I don't want to do everything for my kid because he's never going to learn.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want my kid to make mistakes, obviously protect them when they fail or catch them if they're in danger. But at the end of it, I want to reward them in the ways that I can. And one of the greatest stories I ever heard, and I think this is a cool example, is this dad, and this might have been a TikTok or some sort of Vine way back when, this kid would always ask their dad for money. And the dad would say, okay, cool, either do this or I won't do it. And they just didn't earn it. But the dad would, when they did earn it, the dad would double reward them. They'd give them the $5, but they'd also put $5 away for them. And so when that kid turned 18, it was a
double whammy of reward.
It was, yeah. And they it taught the kid hard work, right, and how to earn money and go for what they want and all the characteristics, right, of being successful. But also the reward for them doing that consistently was greater than they expected in that moment. Because in the moment they just wanted $5. Yeah. But the dad was thinking big picture, which could have been, whatever the total amount of dollars were. And I think God works in that way sometimes too, where we're breadcrumb, leading us to
the loaf of bread.
Yeah, the loaf of bread. But doesn't mean we can't start the journey, because we never take the step or dive in head first. Yeah. We're never gonna be able to find the bread, I guess you can say.
Amen to that.
And so that would be my example.
Yeah, no, that's everything you said is honestly beautiful and optimal. Once I have my 15 children, I'll probably end up doing that.
But soccer team and subs.
No, you can put in 3 basketball teams, no subs. One of the teams will win.
Did you kind of want to segue into one of the topics that are?
Yeah, I had a few things. Whenever I was typing earlier mid-pod, I was taking down notes so I don't forget them. In our last podcast, one of our reels that took off, there was a pinned comment that we left pinned. Is that to anybody who is Catholic out there, there was a conversation that took place in the comments about praying to saints. Does that technically contradict the Bible of when the Bible states, do not pray or do not worship any other gods, for I am a jealous God, or anything along those lines? Then on top of that, I also had a question about Lent, because for anybody who takes part in Lent, that has to do with fasting, correct? Mm-hmm. And I believe in the book of Matthew, it does state that when you fast, do it in privacy. Don't let others know or anything like that. So does Lent technically contradict the Bible? Mm-hmm. Because when you have the Ash Wednesday,
which was yesterday,
when you have ash, when you have the ash on you, isn't that you publicly letting anybody know, hey, I'm about to enter a fast? So doesn't that technically contradict the Bible itself by celebrating and taking part of Ash Wednesday? Because you're letting everybody know that you're fasting. But it says in the Bible, do it in private.
It's public.
Yeah. That's just something I was thinking about, because, I have questions, Mm-hmm. And kind of what I said earlier is, I would rather hear from a perspective that I could understand versus a repetitive answer from somebody who studies it. I don't know if that made any sense right there. That's just my own personal questions that I have.
Yeah, well, let us know, because I actually, I have no idea. Do you?
No, I mean, I wouldn't have, I actually don't have an answer to that as well, but I do want to comment on something you said earlier, because there was like a comment made and a post made of just like go to the preacher if you're trying to find answers. But you know, the point of being a podcast is we're trying to, again, our mission is to we're in pursuit to gather a community of remarkable people, and just the amount of engagement and comments that we've had on our previous posts, you know, it was crazy. But I think the thing that I'm trying to say is like that was all constructive. Like everyone was providing thoughts. I mean, some comments escalated a little bit with high emotions. Ghost Fossers aren't. Oh my god. Yeah. But anyways, the point here is like, well, first of all, I am not going to drive to a Catholic church to do my research and ask the priest that I don't even attend their church about Catholicism. We're really just trying to build a platform where we can, you know, obviously partner with resources in our audience and have conversations about it. And just reading through some of the comments that people had left, I was like, wow, that is actually very insightful and very helpful. And I've responded to a few saying like, hey, like I really appreciate the fact that there was no hostility behind these comments, because we're not trying to, you know, cause any escalated feelings. We're not trying to hurt anybody, be discriminatory. And yes, we're just three gym bros who decided to take this, you know, step. But we're also like so different in our face. Like, you know, Javi has mentioned in previous, just starting his curiosity. I've had my journey, right? And Rob, are you? Yeah, he's in the middle.
I'm very questionable, but I'm also very challenging in a way. I don't want the textbook answer because sometimes that's more like a blanket answer versus when you dig deep down. That's why I like asking these questions out loud, because the comment section did help me understand certain perspectives, something that you probably wouldn't hear from the church. That's why I like asking these things out loud, because it provides you a different perspective, 100%.
Yeah, so we know that there's more functional ways to obtain this information, but again, like we're trying to engage with our audience and find answers in different perspectives, because like I don't know many priests either that I'd feel confident going up to and being like, hey, I'm a Christian, tell me why you do this. Like obviously we're going to have some people with credible answers and some with not, but the whole point of this again is just to interact with you guys. Have a conversation.
And we want to make you guys feel included.
Yeah, and we're not trying to argue with anybody. And so for anybody who ever gets defensive, like an argument is like, nah, we don't have that energy for it. And some of the people who left comments, I've already blocked off the page, just to be completely clear, because like I don't want you guys to feel uncomfortable, but I don't want us to have to deal with that drama. Like if you have something to say, be constructive about it. Again, we're not hateful people. I don't think we have any malice in our hearts. And if you continue watching our clips, I hope that you get to see a glimpse of who we are and what we're about. But also, if you take our short clip out of context, please go watch the entire YouTube episode.
Yes. Available Spotify, YouTube, the whole.
Please, because
it definitely, some of the shorts can be taken out of context, and we've kind of seen examples of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you were to go watch the podcast in full, or maybe just a little bit before it and a little bit after that clip, you'd get a better understanding on, you know, what we're speaking about.
Yes, and we're learning, and we've stated this many times.
Yeah, right. And we're trying to provide, you know, we're providing the knowledge that we know, and we also want your guys' input to, you know, give us more knowledge.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. But also, yeah, I guess we're wrapping up here, but I do just want to say thank you from on my behalf, and I know they'll say thank you too, but I really appreciate everything. I mean, this has been such a fun journey, and
bro, 7 episodes later, like
7 episodes, woo!
Yeah, 7 episodes, crazy.
Yeah, and you know, we're obviously going to talk about a lot of controversial things, and we're going to ask a lot of questions, but you know, be patient with us as we continue to learn and open our minds a little bit more. But also know we're gym bros. You know, we believe in God, so there's some things that we're going to stand firm in. But, I mean, if you're here to join the journey, then be respectful. That's all that I ask.
Oh, yeah. Make it feel welcoming, bro, because every other place on the internet is just toxic. People like to hide behind screens and have these funny-looking profile pictures and just people who are lazy and have nothing better to do than start problems. If you don't have anything great to say, then don't speak at all. What is your purpose? You know?
Kill them with kindness.
Exactly. But to leave off on this, is America a third world country now?
Good question. All right,
Compared
Javi.
to Russia, Dubai, everybody else, how beautiful their streets are.
Ooh, and we could get into the Tucker Putin
Yeah,
interview.
that's why.
We'll leave that for the next pod. Yeah.
Tucker went to Russia and their groceries.
Dude, I just heard about that.
Yeah,
Dude,
reposted
it.
it.
was like $100.
It was
or
$100
$103.
American. They all thought it was $400. Now it's to pay for an entire team.
Insane.
Bidenomics, bro.
Insane.
Bidenomics. What's going on there?
I'm just holding the mic like this to see.
Oh, where they
how
have it
is.
like that, the studio where
Yeah.
it's hanging?
Because the guys with the ski masks, they just go hard at that TikTok. Oh, that's how I felt, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, do you want to do your outro?
No announcements. Announcements.
Shirts
are gonna be coming soon. We need to modify the logo a little bit. That's on my responsibility. I'm a little bit busy right now with multiple clients. Once I have time, I will modify the logo to what we agree on. Once we agree that, we will release some shirts that we will wear that people at the gym or anybody who knows us can touch, feel, see the design, everything like that. Then from there, our goal is to probably take a pre-order amount so we don't overbuy amount of shirts. Like where we have 15 shirts, but only 5 people wanted them or whatever the case. That's just me just throwing numbers out there. Doesn't mean that's how it's gonna be. But shirts will be coming in the future. That's something that, again, this podcast, we are dedicated to it. It's not just going to give up. If you guys don't follow us, just follow us because you're probably going to follow us anyways. Whether if it's 200 followers later, 300, 1,000, 2K, 15K, whatever the case is, just follow us now. You're going to end up following us anyways. If you're watching this from the shadow, don't be shy. You already helped the algorithm by watching the video this far. But yeah, the only announcement I have is the shirts. Do you guys have anything else?
No, I just would like to say that I'm super stoked about the shirts, and I'm holding my mic like this because I'm still trying to be one of those rappers. But again,
From the top.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the merch. But also, yeah, I mean, if you guys ever have any feedback, that is kind of mean, or even if you want to reach us directly, like we are very intentional with our direct messages. So just hit us up, and like Rob said, please follow us and send us your feedback because we're learning as we go, and we want to make sure that we consider like our audience and these podcasts moving forward. But if you're a weenie or a lame, I'm gonna say that you just stop.
If you guys see us at the gym, don't be shy. Say hi.
Yeah,
Ask
say
a
hi.
question. We know you watch us. Don't be shy.
Yeah. And with that being said, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next one.